Hey everybody, I just picked up this Ford 100 garden tractor. How you see it now is how I picked it up. The back tires in the back don't roll. Well, they roll backwards or opposite of each other and then they stop. And then the front tires are destroyed. I was perusing the Facebook marketplace just real quick before I got out to do some of the stuff I needed to do for the day. And I saw this thing just come up on the marketplace. Of course, Facebook knew I was interested in garden tractors. So I went and picked it up. I went to the guy's house and showed up, and he had it there, and I loaded it up, ready to go. Now, the story behind this tractor is the guy bought it from an auction, but he didn't really want it, or he thought he wanted it. Maybe then he chose not to. Didn't know anything about it, and then rolled it up into a homemade trailer, drug it home, and just sat in the trailer. And then he put it for sale. Of course, then I bought it. The truth is, I'm not even that much of a Ford fan. Of course, people who know these things will say, hey, John, that's really a Jacobson tractor. I know it is, but it says Ford on the front, so that's what I'm referred to it as. But what people don't know is that when I was a kid, the very first garden tractor that I purchased with my own money was a Ford that looked just like this one. Of course, after a number of years and owning a few trucks and getting married and going to school and having kids, all that stuff fell out the window, and I ended up selling that tractor to another man and thought I'd just live without it. So that was a number of years ago. But now that we've kind of settled into our home and into the community we plan on being in for a long time, I, though wasn't looking, saw this come up just a short distance away, and I had to have it. It's sentimental value more than anything else. This thing's been sitting a long time. And when I say sitting a long time, I mean a long time. But hey, at least it came with another set of tires. Purple's not my favorite color, but hey, they're free tires. What has completely thrown me off guard, though, is how complete this tractor is. It is almost 100% complete, except for the deck. Of course, there's nothing underneath it. But other than that, this tractor is almost 100% complete, which is great for me because the first one I bought was missing a lot of things. I think the one thing that took me off guard is I believe all these tires are all the original tires to the tractor. They all match. They all look the same. They all look like the tires that was on my Ford when I was growing up. The rear tires, the front tires, no, they were matching on my old Ford too. But these tires all match. This thing, I think, has the original rubbers on it. And though in pretty poor condition, it still has the original seat on it and the original steering wheel. I cannot believe that. I don't know if these things break or what, but mine was missing it. And I guess I just assumed that they don't really last. But this one has it, and it's in good condition. It has the PTO housing that is still works. You can engage it. Right now it's disengaged. But you can engage it, and it still engages. I could not believe it. It still works. I think one of my biggest struggles in this thing is going to be the rear transaxle. These tires, even if they do go back and forth, but they spin opposite each other as if they were in gear, and they don't roll. And they only move a few inches and then stop. So that is definitely, even if I get it running, I'm gonna have to figure out why it's locked, why the rear end's basically locked up. Let's pop this hood. And maybe surprising, but it still has the prop rod to it that props up the hood. I could not believe that. Thing opens right up just like you'd want it to. But look how complete this thing is. It is a time capsule. There's the original Ford Blue back there. Of course, the camera isn't picking it up very well. It doesn't look that dark in real life. Starting solenoid. I think that's a regulator back there. Right there. And then the iconic cigarette lighter that they would have back in the 60s. It still has the air cleaner cover on it. And not just the air cleaner cover and housing, but it also has the attachment that holds it to the carburetor. I'm really surprised that's even made it this far. But the fact that it's made it and it actually is still part of the tractor really amazes me. So this is a Kohler K241. And based on what I found online, I believe this is a 1968 tractor because the engine has a D on it. And I think that's supposed to be 1968. That's the year of the engine. So the tractor's around there as well, 1968, 1969, something like that tractor. The thing that intimidates me the most, though, is that generator. I have no idea how to work on generators. Every tractor that I've owned has had a starter on it, and it has had a charging system underneath the flywheel. This is the first time I've actually seen or actually had owned something with a generator on it. So if you have know of any resources for these generators and how to work on them, or how to convert them over to a starter with a coil underneath the engine, please put it down in the comments below because I have no clue. Some of you may be wondering, John, but I thought you already owned a Ford tractor. What do you mean you have no experience with generators? If your Ford tractor looked just like this one, surely it had a generator. Actually, it didn't. That Ford tractor didn't have an engine on it. I bought just the frame, even without a steering wheel. It just basically was a roller without without anything under the hood. It just had the grill, the hood. That was it. So what I ended up having to do is I actually took the engine out of my wheel horse that I had at the time that I had pulled off, but I had gotten rented from my parents' property, and I put it on the Ford. And that's how I ended up with that engine. But hey, it still has the cover to it. Isn't that awesome? I cannot believe that. Original fuel tank with an original fuel cap. Look underneath there. And it's not horrible. It does have some rust in it and some particles I want to clean out, but it is not bad. That fuel tank looks actually pretty good. I cannot believe how good shape it's in. Now, my old Ford, let me put this cap back on. My old Ford had little rubber stops here. And this has these little metal pegs. Can someone tell me if these are original or if the rubbers are original? I want to say these are because to me, this is more old before they had like little rubber bushings here. But someone knows, please tell me. But hey, it still has the coil and the spark plug. Everything else. I cannot believe it. Now, one thing I thought about doing, because I don't know these engines, excuse me, I had the engine. I've never had one without a starter. I don't know how to fix the generator. So I'll be honest with you. Let me show you something I'm tempted to do. All right, so here is a Kohler 12 horsepower engine. It has a starter, and it has something to charge the battery from underneath the flywheel. Something I'm much more familiar with. My temptation is just to take this and put it on the tractor, but I don't even know if this one runs. The kid that I got it from gave it to me for free because he thought it was locked up. The only reason why I figured it out was because I was taking stuff off the front end of the engine just to find out that it wasn't locked up. It had mouse nests inside of it, and it wasn't allowing it to spin. So, last resort, if I can't figure out that one, I guess I'll just put this one on. But I'd like to figure out how to make that Ford work with the original equipment, and so that way I can use it and keep it as a time capsule. I think one thing else that surprised me about this tractor is this. That's not a lot of play in that wheel. If this thing was wore out, that I would be a whole lot looser. And I cannot believe it, but it has all the emblems in the front to tell you exactly who it represents, which is Ford. Now, the way I understand it, a Ford 100, the 100 stands for 10 horsepower. So this is a 10 horsepower engine on this tractor, which is plenty of power for a tractor this size. It's not even that big of a tractor. When I bought my original Ford and I started working on it, I was about 13 to 14 years old. And back then, I was a wise young man. And I made wise choices. So in working on this tractor, I thought, well, where do I start with this thing? Do I start by cleaning out the gas tank? Do I start by looking at the electrical system? Do I start by figuring out compression, how much compression it has? No, that's not where I'm going to start. I'm going to start where I would have started when I was 14. This thing needs a new set of tires. let's take these off, put some new ones on. There we go. This isn't, I'm not going to necessarily show you how to do it. I'll show you how I do it in hopes that they work. This is not going to be any kind of restoration at this point. In the future, though, it would be really nice to do a small restoration. In fact, I have this tool. There you go. All right, that wasn't bad at all. And we're out. Boy, that was not bad. All right, so that should come right off there. All right. You know, fine. Look at this. That's pretty. That's actually really nice inside there. All right, well, I'm not going to show you the other side. Show you I took this one off. Came out actually really easy. I am going to pry this off of here and put on another tire and probably a tube so we can do it that way. All right, so this is my tire changer, and it is not bolted down yet because we've only lived here for a couple months, and I have plans on where I'm going to put this. I'm going to do that just a little bit. Difficult to use. There it goes. Actually, I was shucks. All right. Okay, there. This is. You know what? I have an idea. Okay, so it's the next morning, and I worked late enough yesterday. It's time to go in. So I decided to come out this morning before it got too hot just to kind of look at things and kind of briefly discuss what I did and my plan for future. One thing that I realized, it kind of something that I should have known and that I somehow often forget, is when you have tires that are this old and the sidewalls are broke down as bad as they are, there's not really a lot to push against. I tried pushing over here and it would just go through the sidewall. So I just cut through them with a pair of snips. I just would pry it away from the rim a little bit as much as I could. As you can see, I was really digging into it on this side over here. And I would just cut them out. This one here was the worst. And I ended up having to cut both sides off, just where they were stuck on there. And I even had to cut the tire in half to get off. So, continue on with what the plan is. My goal is to put the new tires on here and to do it without tubes. I had a set of tubes, and then I tried to install one. I don't know if I left that in the video, but tried to install one, and it wouldn't take air. So I looked at the other one and realized that though they came out of tires that held air, they were cracked and dry rot all over, and they were cracking all over the place. So they weren't going to take air, even if I wanted them to. So tubes is no longer in the picture, and I'm not going to spend any money on this tractor yet. And so I'm not going to do it with tubes. And in the spirit of doing things right, I'm going to probably do something that's going to make some people not happy. And I'm going to put these tires on without tubes. Now, I am going to clean up the bead a little bit here and here. And then I'm going to clean up the holes for the valve stem, just so it doesn't leak. But other than that, I'm not really going to touch the rest of the rim. Now, why would I do this? Well, one, I'm just trying to get a set of tires on to try to so that this thing can be moved around without being on the dollies like you saw yesterday. And number two, eventually these tires are going to come off again and the rims are going to be painted. Probably got to put a new set of tires on it when we decide to restore it. All right, so the tires that I have, I got off of another tractor. They're cheapies. They're Falcon, and they're 16 by 6.5 by 8. Pretty standard lawn tractor tire size. That's actually the size that was on this tractor before, I believe. Yeah, let me go check. Yeah, they were 16 by 6.5 by 8. Yep, so same size tire. All righty. Why don't we go ahead and put these on so I can get working on the back tires, and hopefully here in a couple hours I have a set of tires on this thing that will help it move around. And then I can start the next step, which is to start working on the transmission or transaxle, trying to get it to spin freely. And I can put some tires on, be able to roll it around the shop a little easier. All right, so my method for cleaning these up is going to just be one of these little wire brushes. You can probably do this by hand. My only goal is to kind of just clean up the beads well enough to where it doesn't leak so quickly. Granted, it's going to leak. I know it's going to leak. But this thing's not going to move that much. I just want to have it good enough to fill up when I need to move it and then let it hold air at least long enough while I'm moving it. So that's my goal right now. I'm going to go ahead and clean up these edges. I got my safety glasses on, got a mask on, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just trying to clean these up a little bit, and then I'm going to put new valve stems in it right here. And then just going to put the tires on, fill them up, and let it be what it be. All right, let's there's my spider skeleton. So hit this side real quick, do the hole, clean it up, and then I will start installing the valve stem and tire. All right, and because I'm a overachiever, that's just kidding, but I want to clean up the bead on the tire too, just to kind of help out in any way I can. Like I said, I'm not really worried about it too much because I think that eventually in the near future it's going to come back off anyway and be replaced by either another tire or I'm going to paint the whole rim with the tractor. This just gives me something to put on there to ride around with. Again, not trying to be too particular about how it goes. Just some soapy water. Get that figured out. And in hopes that this gives me at least a little bit a better seal. Again, it's not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but just enough, a little bit. And that seems to be pretty good to me. And get all this cobwebs out and stuff. All righty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a couple valve stems and put the valve stems in. Let me see. Yeah. Go ahead and put valve stems in here, right here. And then after that, with my puller, pull a couple valve stems through. And then after that, put the tires on, fill them up, and put them on. Got a couple short ones and a couple long ones. I think here, and we'll put a little bag here. That's a long one. See, they're long. And I have a couple short ones in here too. Of course, we only have one short one. Surely I have more than one short one in here. Well, I don't think I do. I have one short one. Looks like it's been used. I must have used it and then put it back. I got a long one. The rest are long. Let me go see if I can find another short one like that real quick. I know I have another part of my kit, so let me go look again, see what I can find. Okay. I guess we're going to go with long ones because I'm not finding any other short one. And it would drive me nuts to have one long, one short. So I'll just install the long ones. These actually look a little thicker anyway. No, they're same size in the bottom. All right. So this valve stem tool helps you pull the valve stem through the wheel. In fact, I'll just do both real quick. So all you do, let's see if you can see that. Do it this way so you can see. Yeah. So what you do, you just put it up through here like that. These are a little easier to reach. Screw it on. I try to get as many threads on there as reasonable. And then that way I don't have any problem with threads. Then you just pull it through. You put it on the ground. Alrighty. So I have the valve stem in. I'm going to there. So let me get some more of my soapy water. Spray the bead, but mainly spray this one. All right, just to get it. Well, here, in fact, in the meantime, let me put that on. Not any kind of method except that I have, except get it on there. Get it started like that. We're pretty much started now. And I got these tire spoons. My wife got me for a gift. And this shouldn't be too hard because I'm not fighting with a tube. And I got 3 of them because sometimes the process requires 2 to hold the one to hold the middle, one to hold the other side, and then keep on working it around. And we're already on. See, that shows you how fast that can go. Again, so water, not a lot. Start over here. Okay, we're doing pretty good. I'm gonna leave that one there. Work my way around with this one. Let's see, I need another hand. All right, let me I can press that down with my hand and only use one spoon. But I don't have enough hands to do all that. It looks like I'm making some progress, but I am going kind of slow. I think that side's coming off on me. And this needs pressed down like that. That's part of the issue. There you go. The way I find to use these spoons, the most productive way for me is to put them upside down, and then so you can do those 2, and we put them at the spoon up, then spin it, bring it back, and then pry like that. That's the easiest way I found to do it. Again, spoon up, push it in, spin it, then pull and pry. Almost done. Spoon up, spin it, pull back, and begin to pry. Let's see, this is, nope, that one doesn't see. I thought I might be a little ambitious there. Got it. All righty. I'm going to install the other one real quick, and we will start putting, see, that's going to be a problem right there because of reasons that I have. We'll see. I'll put air in it, and I might be cleaning off this bead again because it's pulling off some of that. See, that's why you should clean your wheels before you put them on the rims. Oh. Okay, so we're going to install the tires now. I have them fully mounted to the rims, and I'm going to mount this tire back on with the new tire, and then when I get done with this, we're going to move on to the rears. All right. All righty. So reinstall the washer and reinstall the cotter pin. All righty. Now, I don't have any covers for these yet, but one day I might do that if I decide to move forward with restoring it. But for now, this should be good enough. Should hold the wheel on there, and that's all it is. It's just when I'm done here, I'll grease it up on the spindles and the wheels, and we should have a set of tires. Let me go ahead and lower this down, and you can see how it looks. So you can see how it's sitting on the front wheels that we just installed. So I already did the other side earlier. Let's see here. Get you from shaking. There you go. Now let me pull those out. Just slowly lower it back down the ground. There you go. And there it is. All the way back down on the ground. All righty, man, that looks good. Sits that front end nice and high where it's supposed to be. Okay, so what you're looking here at is some Carlisle's Turf Savers. They still got the little filler studs on the tire, all the way down. I got this off another tractor that I bought, and the guy had repainted the rims and put new tires on it. And then I stuck different tires on it, but I've had these for a while. They're 23 by 10.5 by 12. And I believe the factory here is 23 by 8.5 by 12. So we're going to get about 2 inches wider of a tire. Now, I don't think the rim is any wider, so it's going to make it a little bit taller. And I have a wider rim that I could put this on, but I'm not going to do that today. And that actually works out because I have the front tires, which are taller. Now these are going to be taller, so it should at least go together. And it's the same tread pattern as the front. So the fronts and the backs will have the same tread pattern. The other thing we'll be doing different is, if you could tell here, he has these rims faced in, where the dish is, the open part of the dish is faced in, or the dish, I guess, is bowed out. And that means that the tire's pushed in. When I install these new ones, I'm going to put the dish on the inside facing this way. And that's going to give the tractor a wider stance. And so when I do decide to use it, I should have a lot wider stance on this tractor than I had before. So let me get these tires dismounted, and we will start installing the new ones, and we'll see how it looks. It's so low that the jack won't even go up underneath it. So what I'll do is I'll lift up this side. I'll lift up the side of it. Let's see if I can. I might try to back it up over the jack. Will it let me? Nope. There you go. Now we're on the jack. I gotta raise this a little higher because it's going to be taller with the inflated tires. All righty. This should not take long. 1, 2, 3. Stuck on there. There it goes. Whew. Okay. Like I said, all this is going to be taken back apart. One thing that's got me kind of curious is when these tires will spin, which I don't know, we'll find out. I wonder if it's where the belt is maybe locked up here. And I think this is a gear reduction area. I'm not sure exactly, but something's not right with this rear end. It's not letting it spin all the way. So we'll find out. later. All right, I gotta hold this up with my knees. Look, a brower close. Man, never in my life I've seen so many of them. All right, let me do the other side. All right, there it is. Okay, that looks so much better. And in the words of 14-year-old or 13-year-old Jonathan, well, at least the important stuff's taken care of now. Oh man, getting a few of those, just some different tires on it makes the world of difference. But it still doesn't run, of course. And my next goal is to see if I can get it running and see if I can get that transmission to pull out of gear. Because if not, I'm going to have to pull it off there and disassemble it and figure out what's going on. So I'm hoping that now that it's ready, or now that it's got tires, if I can get it to roll, then I should be able to roll it around my shop easier and it won't be sitting on flats all the time. And then after this, like I said, the goal is to kind of dig into it and make it run and see if I can get it to move under its own power. And because it really doesn't look like it has a lot of wear and tear. The bearings look great, and I think those are the original bearings. Everything's nice and tight. All the original springs are there. And I don't see much wear that I could see on the brake pad that was on it. So that's what I'm going to call it, guys. Let me do a little outro real quick. Oh, before I do, let me get a glamour shot of an old rusty Ford. All right, I might use that. Do that. Let me go over here. Try another one. Maybe. All right, guys. I guess that's the end of this video. It's good to get some new rubber on this tractor. It kind of makes it feel more like it can start and run. Kind of encourages me to keep moving and to keep moving with the project. But I'm going to take this a little bit at a time. Go share it with you. If you enjoyed what you saw today, if you would just like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. Follow along with this. This channel is going to be about basically my mechanical experiences. I've been mechanically inclined since I was a kid. And I love garden tractors. Garden tractors have been something that I've worked on for many years. And I'm looking forward to this. Now, in the future, my next step with this tractor is I really want to learn how the original system worked, the original generator, the control box, or whatever that is. Again, this is outside of my realm of experience. So my goal is to work on it in that way. In the past, I usually would just tear into things, and I wouldn't start figuring things out until I was halfway done or halfway dug into the project. Sometimes I had to fix things that I wouldn't have had to fix if I just would have waited, did a little bit of research. So that's my next goal. And I want to get this thing to roll. As you can tell, it will roll, but it won't roll far. So looking forward to getting this thing working again and moving around in my shop. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.